The most American animal there is a 2,000-pound creature whose most important work is throwing itself on the ground and rolling around in the dirt. That is the whole job. A bison flops into a patch of bare earth, kicks its legs, coats itself in dust like a giant furry croissant getting breaded, and stands back up, and without meaning to, it just built a habitat. It only gets stranger from here. Let us meet the animal properly. Bison. That is its full scientific name because whoever named it ran out of ideas and, I suspect, patience. A bull can weigh as much as a small car, and most of that is that enormous front hump.
Quick correction, because whoever drew that diagram handed you a rib cage, all those bones fanning out like a hand of cards. That is not what is under there. As I'm about to explain, the hump is not fat. It is a rack of muscle over long bony spines that drives the skull like a plow. So in winter, the bison clears snow off the grass by swinging its head. It is a snowblower that grew a beard.
And despite the bolder look, it is fast, which tourists at national parks learn the hard way, walking up to a wild bull for a selfie as if it were a scenic beanbag chair. It is not. Back to the dirt, that wallowing is not just grooming. When a herd wallows, they grind shallow bowls into the prairie, and those bowls collect rainwater. A wallow becomes a temporary pond, a nursery for frogs and wildflowers. The grazing does the same kind of work, turning a flat carpet of one grass into a patchwork of many. Research on restored prairie, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found that bringing bison back roughly doubled the native plant diversity and left the grassland far better at surviving extreme drought. But that ecological work is a supporting and regulating service. The reason this animal is here today is a different category. Because what the bison provides, more than almost any species we have covered, is a cultural service, and that is one of 4 categories of ecosystem services. Cultural services are the non-material ones, not food, not flood control. They are what a living species does for our identity, our history, our sense of place, recreation, spiritual meaning, the reason a piece of land feels like home. It is the framework's quiet way of admitting that not everything nature gives us fits on a spreadsheet. For dozens of Plains indigenous nations, the bison was never simply wildlife. It was the center of life, food, clothing, shelter, tools, and deep spiritual significance, all carried by one animal. It is also, since 2016, the national mammal of the United States. So the chain runs bison to identity, to heritage, to sense of place. That is the cultural service. And it is the one we came closest to erasing in the first half of the 1800s. Somewhere between 30 and 60 million bison moved across North America. By 1889, a few hundred remained in the wild. That is not a decline. It is one of the fastest and most complete destructions of a wild animal on record, and it was no accident. Part of it was the hide trade. A new tanning method in the 1870s made bison leather valuable, and commercial outfits killed them by the millions for their skins and left the rest to rot. But there was also deliberate policy. The destruction of the bison was understood and in documented cases openly encouraged by military leadership as a way to break the Plains nations who relied on them to starve resistance and force people onto reservations. The animal and the people were attacked together on purpose. I'm not going to reach for a joke here because there is not one. The human cost was immense, and it is still carried today, and yet the bison did not go extinct. A scattering of ranchers, tribal families, and early conservationists kept small herds alive, and the species has since climbed back to around 500,000. And the most important part of that recovery is led by the people who were targeted alongside the animal. The Intertribal Buffalo Council, a coalition of dozens of native nations, is returning bison to tribal land not as livestock, as a homecoming. Here's what I keep circling back to. We sort a species into one box, useful or beautiful, infrastructure or symbol. The bison refuses to choose. It builds the prairie with its body and holds up a culture with its history at the very same time, and we nearly lost both in a single human lifetime and are only now slowly earning them back. That is the episode. Thank you for sitting through the heavy part with me. It mattered. If you want more species that quietly hold up more than you would guess, subscribe and stick around, and I will see you back out on the open prairie.